Please subscribe.
The 2019 Nissan Kicks demonstrates that essential motoring doesn't need to exhaust. Compromising between subcompact hatchback and hybrid SUV, the 2019 Kicks is a full-season little vehicle that offers a ton of highlights for the cash. It's lighter on refinement than tech, be that as it may, which clarifies its 5.2 out of 10 rating. In the wake of supplanting the Juke as Nissan's little vehicle offering, the Kicks sees no progressions other than an almost $600 value climb for the new year. The 2019 Kicks is offered in S, SV, and SR trim dimensions, all of which share 122 torque inline four that sends capacity to the front wheels through a constantly factor transmission, CVT. Despite the fact that it would appear that a hybrid SUV, the Kicks isn't offered with all-wheel drive. At 33 miles per gallon consolidated, the Kicks is among the thriftiest little hybrid SUVs. That is not a formula for rankling execution, but rather the Kicks balances that fairly with an unobtrusive control load of around 2,650 pounds. Light, fast controlling and tight tires give the Kicks a clever vibe around the local area, however plentiful street commotion and darty taking care of make it tedious on long roadway trudges. The Kicks inside is thin, with a style that is quiet and contrasted with its expressive outside. There's respectable space for 4 travelers and the Kicks' 25 cubic foot freight territory bests most other little vehicles. We think the Kicks bodes well the less potential purchasers spent on one. At around $21,200, a Kicks SV accompanies programmed crisis braking, vulnerable side screens. Control includes a 7.0-inch touchscreen for infotainment with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto similarity, and programmed atmosphere control. That value undermines most direct adversaries, yet we'd take a gander at delicately utilized models. For example, the Mazda CX-3 and Subaru Crosstrek before leaving all necessary signatures at a Nissan dealership. The 2019 Nissan Kicks positively isn't a loner. This little vehicle mixes hybrid SUV styling signs with a body that allots progressively like a subcompact hatchback. We like its outside all around okay, yet its unsuitable inside doesn't convey the topic inside. As needs be, the 2019 Kicks rates 5 out of 10 for its styling. Nissan's creators seem to have sharpened the Kicks with X-Acto blades. Its outside is sharp, with a cumbrous grille in advance that suggests truckiness. Unpainted bumper flares sit more than 16-inch wheels with hubcaps on the base S trim and 17-inch amalgam wheels on different variants. A pointed kick-up, see what we did there, at the back of the Kicks window line helps give the presence of a gliding rooftop on models fitted with the additional cost two-tone paint accessible on SV and SR trims. A polished dark rooftop is standard on the Kicks. At the back, Nissan's little vehicle has rakish taillights that stick into its rear end. The Kicks has a high-riding appearance, yet its seating position inside is just marginally more hoisted than an average traveler vehicle. Its dashboard is basic, with few switches other than a bunch flanking its standard 7.0-inch touchscreen for infotainment and an atmosphere control board beneath. The standard material seats have a strong knitted example, while the discretionary manufactured cowhide trim on the Kicks SR includes an increasingly ordinary example. No Kicks is dressy inside. We wish Nissan had played more with differentiating hues to spruce things up. Around town, the 2019 Nissan Kicks conveys satisfactory speeding up and has a formed ride. It's less settled on the interstate, where it battles to stay aware of traffic and where its controlling feels always anxious. We rate the 2019 Kicks at 4 out of 10 for its execution, deducting a point for its comfortable quickening. The 2019 Kicks utilizes a 1.6-liter inline-4 appraised at 122 pull and 114 pound-feet of torque, figures somewhat lower than a year ago's model. The 3-horsepower drop in power isn't probably going to scratch execution much, be that as it may. A constantly factor transmission, CVT, sends capacity to the front wheels. Despite the fact that the Kicks resembles a hybrid SUV, there's no all-wheel drive variant. The inline-4 is a genuinely smooth administrator, and it functions admirably with the mimicked gears that keep the CVT from the elastic band rambling that once tormented vehicles with this sort of transmission. An unladen Kicks weighs around 2,650 pounds, which makes it among the lightest new vehicles accessible. Correspondingly, increasing speed at lower speeds is average and is supported by snappy introductory throttle tippet. Expressway speeds are an alternate story. The Kicks battles to stay aware of quick-moving traffic. Passing requires enough arranging that it turns into a task on two-path roadways. The game mode for the Kicks transmission has little effect. Underneath, the Kicks is firmly identified with the Nissan Versa, which implies the two offer an essential suspension setup with a straightforward curved shaft raised pivot. We've discovered the Kicks to have a more made ride than the Versa and planned it taking care of, however that is a low bar. The three torque controlling wheels level base insights at lively desires, however the Kicks is at last most appropriate to urban cruising. Its little extents imply that it's adept around the local area runabout. The 2019 Nissan Kicks has satisfactory space for 4 grown-ups, but with a few bargains that are outlandish for us to disregard. We rate it at 3 out of 10 for its solid sound quality, stripping focuses back for its thin inside and its clearance room feel. In advance, the Kicks seats sit higher than in most traveler vehicles and have not too bad cushioning for short stretches. The limited focus support implies that there's no focal armrest for front situate travelers, notwithstanding. Raised situate riders will discover shockingly great leg and headroom. 3 side-by-side is pie-in-the-sky thinking except if they're kids, and they ought to be in tight seats, at any rate. With the back seat upstanding, the Kicks has around 25 cubic feet of freight volume. Overlay the back seats and that figure inflatables to around 53 blocks, in spite of the fact that the back seat backs don't make a completely level floor. We dialed the point back for the Kicks' gloomy inside stylistic theme. Some pleasant contacts, for example, differentiating sewing on the seats and dashboard on a few trims helps, yet there's no disregarding the swath of shoddy plastic enhancing its entryways and covering that makes AstroTurf feel lavish. The 2019 Nissan Kicks is an update that economical vehicles don't need to hold back on security. In what crash tests have been played out, the 2019 Kicks accomplished great outcomes. Furthermore, all models have attractive security tech, for example, programmed crisis braking as standard hardware. We rate the 2019 Kicks at 7 out of 10 and it can possibly move higher once the NHTSA completes its accident testing. The Kicks accompanies 7 airbags including one intended to ensure the driver's knees. Programmed crisis braking and programmed high-pillar headlights are standard on all renditions, while vulnerable side screens and back cross-traffic cautions please SV and SR trims. The ESA praised the Kicks a top safety pick in 2018, taking note of for the most part great scores with 2 or 3 exemptions. In the testing little cover crash test, the Traveler side earned an adequate rating for its assurance. Moreover, the honor just applies to the range-topping Kicks SR because of that model's were the LED low-bar headlights. Different trims use halogen headlights the ES said appraised as poor. Offered in S, SV, and SR trim dimensions, the 2019 Nissan Kicks is a modest little vehicle. We rate it at 6 out of 10, taking note of its great dimension of standard hardware. The Bass Kicks S costs about $19,500. At that cost, it incorporates control windows and locks, programmed crisis braking, cooling, keyless action, and a 7.0-inch touchscreen for infotainment with Bluetooth and a USB port. No choices are accessible on the Kicks S. We'd burnt through $1,700 more for the Kicks SV. That trim dimension tosses in progressively advanced infotainment programming with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto similarity, vulnerable side screens, raised cross-traffic alarms, 17-inch amalgam wheels that'll hold up superior to anything the steel wheels with hubcaps on the base trim, programmed atmosphere control, worn-out side mirrors, keyless start, and a couple of different highlights. The Kicks SR Group's manufactured cowhide upholstery, an in-compass C-camera framework, and a couple of minor highlights for about $21,900. At that value, we propose investigating the Kicks opponents. Nissan charges among $200 and about $600 for some additional cost paint shading blends, including a differentiating rooftop board on the Kicks SV and SR trims. A solitary alternative bundle for the Kicks SR costs $1,000 and includes Bose speakers and warm front seats. The 2019 Nissan Kicks won't be in ordinary corner stores. Its 31 miles per gallon city, 36 parkway, 33 consolidated mileage gauges from a year ago are sufficient to win at 6 out of 10 on our scale. We're sure the current year's numbers won't stray far when they're accessible from the EPA. Those figures best its adversaries. The front-wheel drive Mazda CX-3 is appraised at 31 miles per gallon joint, while the Ford EcoSport and Chevrolet Trax gain up to 28 miles per gallon consolidated. The bigger, all the more amazing Subaru Crosstrek doesn't arrive in a front-wheel drive variant, despite the fact that its 29 miles per gallon consolidated rating is praiseworthy.